taster, just like my Eggo waffles. I just want my Eggo waffles. I ain't trying to be aggressive, but people look at me like I'm an old man. I came back from resurrecting, they look at me like I came back from the dead like it's Resident Evil. But they don't even understand that I'm actually more human than you ever can. This is why I'm what you call the ex-human. I'm just different. I'm artistically different. Now, I ain't trying to have sex in no meat shop.
What's up, my archfiends of chaos? This is your king of the night, Vince at Valentine EX Turk, coming back at you with a brand new Final Fantasy video, which has been a while for Final Fantasy videos. I've been doing it, but live streams and uploading my mixtapes and, stuff like that. I've been very kind of, picky about how much time and how much content I upload, especially the fact that I'm running out of content. But since the Comrades DLC came out and I actually finally got the jump on the bandwagon, and I enjoy the game really well. I'm going to say I enjoy the game really well. In fact, a little bit too well. I can't even get off here. It's like 4 o'clock in the morning, and I really want to talk about the Comrades DLC. And this is what it brought up. Now, why is the Kingsglavie important to the plot of Final Fantasy 15, even though they weren't there in Versus 13? Well, here's why. Even though Kingsglavie movie, we only got a tease of what the Kingsglavie is and what they do and why they do it. And how Nyx is a big hero who defeated the evil Niflheim High General Glocka. It even goes beyond that stuff as it is. So, it even goes beyond that. But the Kingsglavie are very important to the plot because it was the Kingsglavie that was able to get Lunafreya out of Insomnia with the ring intact. Without the Kingsglavie guard, even with Regis' sacrifice, the Niflheim Empire would already have the Ring of Lucii as it is. Considering it was Nyx's, strength and power alone that not only made it so Lunafreya got safe, but as well as the fact that that he defeated General Glocka, which would have been a powerful enemy. Not to say Noctis couldn't beat General Glocka, but it would be pretty hard since Glocka would only be able to get stronger. So thanks to Nyx's sacrifice with the Ring of Lucii, and there's a reason why that the Kingsglavie people can use Lucius Kylian powers. They can use the Lucius because the Kingsglavie are actually the Lucius Kylian Royal Bloodlines private army, private battalion, chosen by the Kings of Lucis from previous generations. So the Kingsglavie have been around for some time. Even before Titus Andronicus, aka General Glocka, became the High Commander for the Kingsglavie as well, and a spy of Niflheim, the Kingsglavie has been around for centuries, and it could be possible that it could have been around since Arden's time as well, when he was Lucius Kylian King as well. So yes, they've been around and been established for a long periods of time. They've been established for long periods of time. Now, there are more than just the regular members like Libertas, Nyx, Ulrich, Titus Andronicus, and all those other Kingsglavie members that you see in the movie. Remember, the movie was only a tease of the Kingsglavie, of what the Kingsglavie are. Now, because of that, the movie was really supposed to just be a prequel, or pretty much Final Fantasy Versus 13 Part 1, where Idolus, and Regis sit down to sign a peace treaty. So it was really supposed to be that, but they needed to fill in some more time, and this is where they put the whole issue with the Kingsglavie and what they do and the politics that are behind the Kingsglavie Guard, So it did tease a little bit of that in the movie. But I don't think it has as down pat as what Comrades has it, because Comrades, even though you create your own character, your character are part of the Kingsglaive, and all the Kingsglaive member come from any part of Lucis, from Altissia, Tenebrae, and even Grolia. Some people, they come all over. Mostly immigrants join these armies to protect protect the crystal, to help the king protect the crystal when the kings, in the king's stay, and considering the fact that Noctis has disappeared. Well, not disappeared, but in his 10-year stasis, someone's got to defend them. And don't forget, I know we got Gladiolus, Ignis, and Prompto, but they're going to need help of an army since now the Lucius King is, gone right now. And I think it's possible, to actually, have that, have the army, the Kingsglaive army, back again, and this is where I think they play an important role. If it wasn't for them, none of the cities would get powered, and the demons would have already won. They're the ones who drove the demons back for as much as they could until Noctis got back and put an end to Arden's evil once and for all, or what Bahamut calls the accursed madness, But it wouldn't, if it wasn't for the Kingsglaive, Noctis would have never got the ring of Lucii. Noctis would have never been able to finish his stasis inside of a private island. Because actually, I found out, thanks to this story arc, this not actually a prison that Noctis gets put in. Bahamut puts Noctis there to keep him away from Arden, because only Lucius Caeliums could go on that island. If you're not Lucius Caelum, as you've seen in the final boss fight, even though I'm not that far, so spoiler alert here, that's why you had to fight Bahamut, because you're not Lucius Caelum. You got to be Lucius Caelum to be on that one round island. So it kind of debunks my theory about Verstale creating Diamond Weapon out of that island. So that's debunked. I'm gonna just put it right there. I apologize right there. Now, besides the debunked theory, I think Bahamut put Noctis there in his stasis, his body there, so Arden couldn't figure out where he is. And then that's why we need the Kingsglaive army to drive back the darkness for as much as this. And what the Kingsglaive are people who have hope in the light of the kings and the kings of light in the crystal. Pretty much, that's why they're blessed with the royal blood of Lucis's powers, such as royal arms and stuff like that. Because as you see in the Comrades DLC, Comrades DLC, you got to see one of the Lucius Caelum kings, depending on what you picked on your character build, depending on what class you take, you pick one of the Lucius Caelum kings or one of the right knights around. Comes at you, approaches you, and gives you their power. Now, you do have to equip their power on you, or you're not going to be good at this multiplayer at all. From what I learned. You're not going to be good at this. You're not going to be very good at this. You're not going to be very good at this unless you equip the Ring of Lucii, which is very important to the actual plot of the game, such as plot progression and stuff like that. So, it helps with the plot progression and everything when you got all that. But it's like, that's why they can use the Royal Arms powers, because the previous Lucius Kings blessed them with their power. And they can actually do that. Remember, the Lucius Caelum Kings gave Nyx the full Ascended King's power, and not even being a Lucius Caelum. Of course, just like Noctis, it was the cost of Nyx's life. So Nyx could only defeat one opponent, and that was General Glocka. And then Noctis finishes it off. Now, Noctis did have to sacrifice himself, but it's more natural to Noctis because he's from the bloodline. The reason why the Kingsglaive Guard has the powers it is because the kings know that the worlds are in danger. They know, same thing with the Astrals. They know how serious danger the whole entire world is if Arden were to able to get to get away with everything. Because at this point in the Comrades DLC, the Niflheim Empire is gone, so there is no Niflheim Empire. There's no Idolus. And Ravis already betrayed the army, and even then, you killed him as a demon, so... You know, Ravis and Idolus are gone. That means that the Niflheim Empire is technically defeated, even though Arden didn't play a part of it. Arden was only manipulating the Empire from the back corners. But that's not the point here. The point I'm trying to say is the Kingsglaive army is a very important plot progression plot for the Final Fantasy 15 universe. Because, I mean, Final Fantasy's always had soldiers that helped you. You know, they always follow that Star Wars formula where they had an army that helped out a whole lot. Just like in Final Fantasy VII, we had the full cast of Avalanche members. You had, you know, a lot. You had that, you had... You know, both good and evil soldiers, and I'm trying to think of what else we had. We also had, I'm trying to think of another good organization of super soldiers, you know. So, you know, but you pretty much got your super soldiers that helped out the world. They weren't just only doing, you know, they weren't just only doing evil. You know, there were some soldiers that actually saved everybody, but that's not the point. The point is that they helped out. That without them, the main character couldn't get to where he's at. So the Kingsglaive are very important on the fact that they're the ones who reclaimed humanity from the Scourge, little by little. You know, and if it wasn't for them, Noctis wouldn't have been able to get his complete power and be able to defeat Arden because, the Kingsglaive are supposed to distract Arden, which they do. You know, of course, Arden being on the throne saying he's a good guy, the Kingsglaive ain't gonna go after him. But the point I'm trying to say is, they're very important, and I think this DLC multiplayer, even if it wasn't a multiplayer, I'd still like this story on the fact that, you know, on the fact that we got to learn more about the Kingsglaive guards, and the fact that you get to play as a Kingsglaive member was actually made the best thing, because now you got to be in their shoes. You got to be in the action. It showed you even clips from the movie Kingsglaive, so you got to understand what it means to be a true Kingsglaive guard. And it was to reclaim humanity back and fulfill the Crystal Light's prophecy to banish the curse. So that's why they're blessed with the power of the kings, because they were made to do it. Remember, the kings gave, and because it was King Regis that talked the other kings into it, it was the kings that gave Nyx his power to defeat General Glocka. Otherwise, he would have lost 10 times over to General Glocka. So, you know, we gotta really thank the Kingsglaive Guard and the previous Lucius Kings for the way the ending turned out. Yeah, it wasn't a bad ending, and did I care about the ending? Not really. But, you know, it was a happier ending because the world is saved from the Scourge and Arden is purged from the world. Arden's spirit has been cleansed. Thus, no evil, no Star Scourge, and none of that will ever occur ever again. You know? So, in a way, Kingsglaive guards are actually heroes. They're actually complete heroes. You know? They do everything to save the universe, and they have. They've done their duty. And just like any other army, they're very important because it just takes a few citizens to join the army to gain people freedom, to become heroes. You know, this would have been a perfect Veterans Day special thing, but you know, and the game never came out before, so I never wanted to discuss it before, but I'm discussing it. Yes, the Kingsglaive army are important to Final Fantasy 15. Let me know what you think in the comments, and may the crystal be with you. And don't forget to download Comrades as well. You can play on the same server as I am if you want. I'm on the Lucis server, so don't forget to be on that server. So may the crystal be with you.